Our volunteers are key in hospice in that a lot of times they're providing companionship so that maybe the family can go out and maybe when that person who's on the hospice program can no longer leave the home, that we're there to be able to provide that additional companionship. Being able to identify how volunteers can best meet the needs of that person who's on hospice, like if you like to play cards. So really doing hobbies and things that that person on hospice would love to do, but don't always have someone who has the same interests. So trying to match up those interests. We have veterans on our hospice program, and we want to always make sure that we recognize the special gifts of our hospice patients, and often those may be veterans, and so we love to have also veterans who are volunteers, so that we can match up the hospice veteran with our volunteer veteran, and they speak the same language. So again, that's to improve the quality of life. We have volunteers who work in the office and help us with phone calls to the families. Help us with a tuck-in service, just to make a phone call. Do you have everything you need? It's Thursday. We might have a snowstorm coming up this weekend, and we want to make sure you have everything you absolutely need. So we have volunteers who make those phone calls also. In hospice, we provide a real thorough orientation. How to communicate with someone who's on hospice. And one of the most important skills that a volunteer could have in hospice is to be able to listen, to truly be able to listen and to give your full presence to that person. Often our volunteers come back to us and say, this is the greatest gift that hospice person gave to me, being able to be present and to be of assistance. And our volunteers are supervised so that we help them and do joint home visits together so that they're not scared or frightened. Again, when we match up the volunteers with the hospice patients and their interests and their hobbies, it's truly a match made together when they come together. Our volunteers are 90-year-olds. Our volunteers are 16-year-olds. We always need volunteers in hospice because we're in such a large service area. We're always recruiting volunteers. So the need is always there. We can't provide our hospice service without the generosity and the time and the commitment of our volunteers. I think the most important thing we can do as children, as neighbors, as parents, is to be able to ask our care providers, our physicians, who we work with every day, to ask about hospice, and not to hesitate and ask those questions of Home Nursing Agency, and to call us. We can help in working with your physician of how we can better help your loved one who may need this service, and to rid the myths of what hospice isn't, and truly focus on what it is if your loved one needs us. So indeed, to call Home Nursing Agency, and that's our 800 number, our 1-800-445-6262, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, should you have any questions.